Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video. My name is Nicole Severson, and this week we're going to talk about being versus doing. What does that mean? Well, you're about to find out. So let's talk about it. This is not a new concept, especially in the meditation, yoga, and philosophical world. And this really comes into what it means to be human and really finding your seat in yourself. And there's a really great TED Talk about this by Jill Bolte Taylor. This TED Talk was recommended to me by a teacher of mine, and it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And she really comes into owning that we are, as humans, we are feeling beings that think. And if you kind of pause and just sit with that, because normally in our modern day society, in our very masculine, doing, active, creating energy that is kind of mandatory to survive and is needed as well. It comes more from an approach that we're thinking beings that feel, and a lot of the times those feelings should be repressed or not felt or dealt with later, and we're supposed to have, this specific control over how we feel things. And it's nice to have the balance between the two, but at the end of the day, our feelings will usually always trump our thoughts. And the way we process emotions is really how we end up making decisions or rationalizing things. So the more we're able to be our human being self versus our doing self, the more we're able to naturally and healthfully process emotions that do come up, and then from there take action instead of reacting to our environment. So we're gonna go over what being versus doing is, and just kind of look at it from that and see where you can start to bring more awareness to where you do one versus the other. So ways of being is being in the moment. It's feeling your body, that sensation of being in your body. It's easy to breathe. You don't feel rushed, forced, in a hurry. And this is where true creativity and focus is. Because when you don't have all these reactions to external things and you're really coming from a place of action and being, you're actually able to create more. So this I consider actively seeking inward. So you're coming from the inside out. Whereas doing is it's in your head. It's not actually even really being in your body through your awareness and sense of self. So this is mentally active. It can be scattered. There can be feelings of forcing or pushing things to make them happen instead of allowing and being with what is, and then making decisions and movements from that place. And doing, I consider actively seeking outward. So when we're doing, we're pushing, we're creating from a place of force versus flow. So this can happen in all areas of your life. So you can be being with your family, or you can be doing with your family. So if it's hard for you to enjoy the moment, you always feel like you have to have control of the situation, or your kids, or wherever you're at, noticing the difference. And you know the difference when you're on a vacation where you feel super relaxed, and if the kids are happy and they're hanging out and you're able to actually enjoy yourself, versus when you go on a vacation where you might have in-laws or stressful family members who trigger you, and you're trying to small dose time with them, or maybe control your kids are being crazy. There's a huge difference between the two. And not to say that you can just blissfully walk around all the time, because it's really hard to do that. It can be really hard to do that. And what softens that is the ability to get into your body, to find your breath, get the sensation of being in the moment, And from there, even if you have people around you that trigger you, or maybe the situation feels a little out of control to you, you're able to make better decisions and actions from that place of being rather than doing. And from personal experience, I know when I'm in a triggered environment or I don't feel like I have control of my external environment, that's where I can get controlling or feeling like I need to do something to change something to make this different because I'm uncomfortable. And that's a practice too, and that's also coming back to that putting myself outside of or my decisions or actions based on what's happening outside of me versus inside of me. So I encourage you to try this on and to just start being aware of when you feel like you're more in your head versus your body, and just noticing what the difference feels like to you. Because I know for me, I feel so good when I'm in my body and I feel at ease, even if things aren't easy in my life, of feeling like I'm at home in my body, versus if I'm like, I need to make things happen and things aren't going according to plan, and the chaos or neurotics that can come from that space. And it's a practice. And so starting to bring in the awareness of, am I being or doing, and go from there. And I'm really excited to hear how this goes for you. Try it on, whether it's at work, at home, maybe even when you're exercising, and noticing what play or creation or workout bring you into being versus doing. So if you're able to go dancing or hiking or do yoga or something where you just feel good in your body, do those things instead of going and trying to do a Zumba class where you feel like you don't know what the F you're doing and it's awkward and you feel too much in your head. Maybe after a couple of times you won't. Sometimes it takes time to learn a new thing. But finding something where you feel in your body, and just see how that goes for you. So I'd love to hear how this speaks to you, if you notice when you're being versus doing, and if you notice where you're doing more than you are being. I would love to hear about it. So post in the comments below, or you can direct message me on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to hear it, and I'll see you next week.